Right. Rise and shine, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. We're in the last stretch of February. Thank the Lord. That was a quick one. I don't know about you, but Februaries are bittersweet for me. It's my birth month and it's a love month, Valentine's, but it's also a really heavy grief month for me. I have to move through a few waves of grief, which opens Pandora's box. And here I am. And so February 15th marks my uncle's sudden and tragic passing. And then yesterday was my brother's death anniversary. And today is another day for me. I found my dog Shadow dead on my living room floor 3 years ago, unexpectedly. And I'm just kind of feeling those waves of grief today. And I knew it was going to hit me, but I didn't think that I would be so angry. So angry. And so I am taking my own advice and I'm rearranging my day to have some self-care practice and anchor in with my wellness foundations because I found myself raging out yesterday in my car, which is not very typical of me. This morning, I was annoyed by everything that came my way. I don't want to deal with anything or anyone. I don't want anyone to talk to me. I do not want anything to be expected of me or anything. So, what do we do when we feel this way? Well, sometimes we have to pivot, right? We have to pivot, especially when we don't expect it, because we don't want to give that energy off to other people, right? We don't want to have to pass that torch of emotional instability on. So I rearranged my day. I canceled a few clients and I just have a short fuse and I just don't like how it feels. So I'm gonna go anchor in and recognize I have to move through this. I can't let it own me. I won't let it own me. So instead of shoving it down and pretending like I'm fine and sweeping it under the rug, which is what so many people do, I am going to go do what I know works. And that is I'm going to go take my dog for a walk. Because movement, as we've talked about before, motion shifts emotion, right? So I'm going to go take my dog and then I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lift because anger needs an outlet, and I'd rather be lifting heavy things than going and lashing out. So anchoring into those things that keep me grounded helps me to change my state and not um, go down the spiral, go down the rabbit hole. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of emotion and the storm, I know that the storm will pass, but I don't need to be destroyed by it. So this is me taking care of myself and knowing that anger's not my enemy. My emotions are not my enemy, but avoiding them is. There are people in this life that get ruled by their emotions and the chaos and they let it take them on this roller coaster. And then there's other people who ignore them and bypass and push it down. Life is all about duality. And it is about this ebb and flow, ever changing, right? It's ever changing, and light and dark, duality, right? Duality, 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 as above, so below, right? Duality. So we have to learn to move through these things and experience the as above, so below duality, duality in a way that is somewhat graceful. So no matter who we impact, we're not harming them as well, and we're not harming ourselves. And know that anger, it's not a bad thing to be angry. You can turn rage into renaissance. You can turn any emotion into something beautiful if you channel that energy. I'm going to take my energy today and I'm going to work on a couple of websites and I'm going to work on a couple of projects and work on myself. And that's going to help me anchor in and I'm going to channel that energy because anger is a lot of energy. It's really a lot of power. And so if I can channel that anger and sadness into creation, then I'm actually able to let that energy flow through my body rather than suppressing it and causing disease later. Because if you suppress the energy, it will pop up in your body, manifest up in your body as like inflammation or disease. If you're swallowing it down, um, and avoiding things, sweeping it under the rug, it turns into resentment. And it's if you're denying things, people that deny things that go on, it controls you in ways that you don't even see. Controls how you show up in the world. It controls what you think other people think of you. It controls you in ways that prevents you from taking risks. It prevents you from making a change in times that you might need to actually make a change. If you're going to sweep things under the rug, that means you're not taking any radical responsibility for your life, and someone else is responsible for your life. Well, then who? So funny, people don't believe in God, but yet they don't take radical responsibility for their life, and they just think someone else will do it. Well, who's going to do it? Who's going to save you? You're going to save yourself? There are things we can do to help ourselves in these times, but certainly not going to save ourselves. But we can absolutely help ourselves through shift through to different energies and into different paths and ways of being and how we show up in the world. So if you ignore things, it's gonna find its way out. It's gonna find its way out in the worst possible moment if you ignore it. You can't ignore what is, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. So it's not what it isn't. It is what it is. You can't ignore light. Ooh, I guess it's blinding me. You just can't ignore what is. Things are what they are. They're not what they're not. So don't ignore it. So how do we move through it, right? How do we move through it? Well, that checklist for one is when you don't have the capacity to hold everything and you don't have the capacity to, or sometimes when we go down the rabbit hole, our brain starts to spiral and it goes into a loop and we don't have the mental capacity to cling on to multiple things and channel that energy into something creative. So that's why the checklist, that's why anchoring in with one thing, you just pick one. Today, I'm picking movement. Food, like as far as like my um food and stuff goes, I'm usually pretty good about not counting my calories, but I don't like count my calories, but I'm mindful of my macros. So I'm mindful of my macros and I'm mindful of ingredients. And there will always be foods that I just don't eat. I don't consider them food. I think, like things like McDonald's, for example, or fast food. I don't eat fast food. I haven't eaten fast food in years. Um, most box foods, I don't own a microwave. Things like that, like certain like candy, most candy, I won't eat that. Things with any dyes in it, anything from Hershey's, stuff like that. If I was going to eat junk food, I would go to, the health food store and get some of that stuff, those healthy alternatives, which they are junk food too. But, if I'm going to have junk food, I'm going to eat something like that, or, some like Haagen-Dazs ice cream or something, or some gelato. Um, and I'm not, usually I'm very mindful of that, but today I am not, I don't care. Like yesterday, I didn't care. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to anchor in with that. I don't care. It's not going to kill me as long as I don't go down the, road of self-sabotage, which at this point, once you reach a certain point in your wellness foundations, and having built your wellness foundations, there are just certain things that you just don't do anymore and you don't consider. Um, and that just is like you're at a different level, right? So you're just kind of at a different level, like wellness 401 rather than wellness 101. You're, kind of at a higher level with that. So you just have to find what level you're at and anchor in with the habits that resonate with you. Like for me, it's going to be movement, journaling, and reading. Those are my things. I'm always going to be drinking enough water. I'm always going to wash my face. I'm always going to eat whole foods for the most part. These are things that I just do. But I don't always journal. I don't always read, and I don't always go to the gym. So those are my things. Today I'm anchoring in. I'm anchoring in. So how do you move through these days of going down the rabbit hole of emotions? You need to move, you need to acknowledge it. First of all, you need to say, okay, I'm here. I'm stuck in the rabbit hole. I need to find the ladder. I need to find the way out. How do I find that? Well, first of all, I need to get up. I need to move. I need to anchor in. I need to get out of my head and get into my body and move and change my state. Motion changes emotion. Remember that. Walk, lift, journal, pray, whatever gets you centered. Listen to music. Don't listen to sad music. Maybe for a minute, maybe you need to cry and listen to sad music. Sometimes I need to listen to sad music. Yesterday, I listened to a ton of sad music when my family left the house. I was listening to sad music and crying, let it out, and then I switched to some happier songs, or some angry songs. Like get in your car and listen to some angry songs, scream, but don't do it. Don't start rage driving, but don't stay there, right? Don't stay there. I would highly recommend anybody to journal and just write about it, type about it, write about it, burn it, write about it, flush it, redirect it. Anger, sadness, all this is energy. It's all just energy. So if we can redirect the energy and give it a job, give the energy a job, right? If you don't give it a job, it's going to find one. Use it for something productive. Anger needs a job. Give it a job. Don't isolate. When we're pissed off or we're sad, we are in a state of depression. It is really easy to shut down. Text someone, call someone, go out for coffee, get around people, get around people who get it, go, into one of your groups, even if it's just a quick check-in, even if it's just a quick check-in. If you don't feel like being around people right now, like I don't want to be around anybody right now. But I'll call my parents, or I'll call my grandpa or someone that, makes me um just not think about myself, right? Get outside yourself. So sometimes getting outside yourself or going and giving, doing something for others, that's always something good you can do. Bring a friend coffee, take them a gift, do something for someone else. Get outside yourself, redirect that energy. Just don't isolate. Acknowledge it, anchor in, redirect it. Don't isolate. And remember, this too will pass. This too shall pass. Feel it, acknowledge it, talk about it. Don't sweep it under the rug. You know, I think that a lot of people commit suicide because they're sweeping things under the rug and not acknowledging it, and they feel so hopeless that they feel like that's the only way out. So the momentary lapse of reason gets to them, and they don't. Um, they regret having that moment of they're giving in, right? So they don't actually want to kill themselves. They just have a moment. So my final thoughts for today are feeling it, moving through it, and just keep going. Just keep on going. This week has been a hard one for a lot of you. I've been seeing a lot of posts. Some of you have lost your children last month. Some of you have lost your family members. Some of you have lost your animals. Some of you are very sick. Some of you have family members that are sick. Some of you lost your jobs. There's a lot of people out there losing their jobs right now. A lot of people having children getting ready to graduate. There's a lot of heavy stuff going on. People are going through divorces. People are going through home losses. People are going through times of not knowing where their next paycheck will come from. People are working their butts off and not making enough money. We are all going through something. So be kind, number one. And if you can't be kind, try to get outside yourself and do something kind for others. If you can't verbally be kind, shut your mouth and do something kind. Or, you know, go do something nice for animals if you can't do it for people or the earth or yourself, I suppose. But if you are carrying something today, anger, grief, or frustration, I want you to take a minute to check in with yourself, acknowledge how you're feeling, say, I'm feeling like crap. I don't want to today. No, have some boundaries. Go do some self-care. What do you need to do to move through it? Not run from it, not numb it out, not spiritually bypass, not make a big old deal about it so everybody can, oh, I'm so sorry. Don't be a victim. We don't want to be a victim. Let's talk about it, but not be a victim of it. How are we going to overcome? Right? Move through it. So, how are you going to anchor in today? Get on that checklist. I want to see your anchors today. Let me see them. If this hit home for you, let me know in the comment section. And if you need help learning how to process the hard shit in life, apply for coaching with me at www.lacyjwatson.com. I do now have some programs available to work one-on-one. Okay, guys, happy Monday. I will see you tomorrow. Anchor in, rise and shine. Have a great day. Ciao.